Good day, you're welcome to Lush Fashion Tutorial. Today we'll be looking at how to make mermaid gown. You need a mermaid pattern to make the lower part of the gown. So we're extending the center front of the skirt. We're extending with about 8 inch. Remember that the fabric is folded into two. The base is 21.5 inch, as you can see. Then we're going to mark our knee roundness. We're extending the knee roundness because this fabric is not stretchy and the pattern is so stretchy fabric. So we are extending with about 1 inch. So I'll just cut, following and increasing the knee roundness. I'll just follow the pattern, then I'll cut to the end like so. Next we are checking the measurement for my side and the center back. That's the tail extension. The tail extension was 53, the side is 48. So I'm extending the side with 4 inch. That becomes 52. So the side becomes 52 inches long. So the side must be the same with the side for the front. Next, I'll extend the tail extension with 13 inches and just use my curve roller to curve like that. So we also folded the fabric into two and we are curving with our curve roller. Remember to add the zip allowance to the center back, straight roller to the tail extension. So the tail extension will be longer. So this is what it looks like. So I have two pieces for the skirt. Here I added 1 inch for zip allowance, like you can see. So this is the upper part, my two shoulder bustier. You can watch previous video. We have two lining and one fabric, then the back has just one lining. So this is a skirt, it's a long one, and this is the back. So this is the front of the skirt. So you can see the upper part. I've added wording to one of the lining. We have two pieces for each, and I've added wording to just one of each. So you can see what we have. So next I'm going to pick the lining with the wording and place the fabric on it. So I'll face the fabric on it like so and pin. Ensure the two are placed on each other equally. Ensure they align properly because we are going to sew over it with our 0.375 inch seam allowance. So I'm placing it. You can see you must ensure the line align properly because that's when the bust shape will come out nicely. So I'm aligning the shape of the bust to the 4 fabric. I'm pinning together about 4 fabric here. The lining with the wording, then the fabric for each. Pin and align at each point to the under bust. Ensure they align nicely and neatly. So pin till you get to the base, the end of the fabric, and this is what it will look like after pinning. And I'm going to sew with 0.375 inch seam allowance. So this is what it looks like after sewing. You can see it's coming out nicely. So the other side of the bustier, the third piece, I will place the fabric and the wording, the lining with the wording on it, and pin nicely. So pin till you get to the end. I'll sew again. So this is what we have after. You can see it's coming out nicely. Next, our back piece. So you're going to place the wrong side on the right side, and so repeat the same for the second one. You sew with the same allowance. This is what it looks like after sewing. So we're going to sew the zip allowance And this is what we have after sewing the zip allowance. So turn to the right side, you can see. Next, we are going to sew the darts for the upper part, the dart for the skirt. And after sewing, this is what we have. We have our darts. Ensure your dart for the front aligns with the darts for the bustier. So this is the back of the skirt. I place the lining on the right side of the fabric and I'll sew straight down. I'll join the center of each and I'll sew straight down. So after sewing, this is what I have. You can see. Then I'll measure my zip allowance, pin and sew straight down to the end of the fabric. So this sewing project took days to complete because I had other project. I'll sew with 0.5 inch seam allowance to the end. Then this is what it looks like after sewing the center. Now we're going to join the two back piece, pin and sew with 0.5 inch seam allowance. There are several ways you can do this, but we'll follow this method. So we've sewn and this is what we have. You can see that the darts aligns nicely. Next, I'm going to mark my neckline, making a V neckline. I'm using my neckline measurements. Then I'm marking the center so I can give it a nice shape right there. I'll measure 0.5 outwards, connect back like so, then cut along that line. Just makes your V neckline look stylish. So I'll place my lining right on right so I can cut. So I'll cut like so. We'll sew the neckline, and after sewing, this is what we have. So you can see I'll fold the fabric into two in order to cut the armhole. So I'll place a pattern on it. It doesn't have shoulder joining like the pattern, but I'll just use that as a sample. So I'll place the lower part on the upper part and pin. I'm going to sew with 1 inch. I'm trying to align the darts here. So I'll sew with 1 inch. I'm going to join the shoulder. Next, we'll measure our bust point. Shoulder to bust point, then our bust point divided by 2 and mark on both sides. Next, we'll measure our shoulder to waistline, then waistline divided by 2. Then we'll mark on both sides. I already marked my shoulder to waist, so I'll mark my waist divided by 2. Shoulder to hip measurement. Next, your hip divided by 2, mark on both sides. Then we'll do our waist to knee. Then we'll measure our knee circumference divided by 2. Or you can subtract 1 inch from the two sides. Then we are going to sew straight down.